Hello, I'm Charlie Nolan. I'm one of the learning technology integrators with Albemarle County, and I work with Greer Elementary, Woodbrook Elementary, and the ESOL administration team.
Hi, I'm Shelly Robinson. I am the Learning Technology Integrator for Henley Middle School.
And my name is Clay Todd. I'm the Learning Technology Integrator at Hollymead Elementary and Broadestwood Elementary. We do hope you'll bear with us today. We're all working from home, and therefore if you see a pet or hear a child, you'll forgive us for that. We are excited to share with you today about media literacy and how we can balance our facts and feelings when we encounter resources online. If you'd like to follow along, we encourage you to do so at the link below or below this video. If you click there, you will be able to see all of the resources that we reference today. So today we're first going to talk about what media literacy is. We're going to talk about how to get ahead of your own feelings when you encounter something reactionary, how to get behind the facts as it relates to any media we encounter, and how to stay sharp online.
What is media literacy? Media literacy is understanding the message media is sending, where and who a message is coming from, the purpose of the message being sent, and the way personal bias affects how you interpret a message. For more information, check out What is Media Literacy and Why is it Important from Common Sense Media.
So why does it matter? It matters because it helps our students learn how to think critically and just be able to identify when there's personal bias, determine if things are facts or have a separate message behind it, and also if they feel the need to respond to certain things, how to do so respectfully. We don't want to shy them away from responding. We just want to teach them how to do it correctly or appropriately with digital citizenship in mind.
So let's talk first about getting ahead of your feelings when you encounter something online. When we feel emotionally amped up about something we read or see in the media or online, it can be difficult to think about it rationally. Before we respond or take action, it's important to understand how our feelings are affecting our thinking. From a neuroscience perspective, our amygdala can hijack the reasoning centers of our brain, clouding our better judgment. If you want to learn a little bit more about what an amygdala hijack is and how to combat it, we encourage you to check out the article below from Healthline.
The amygdala determines emotional responses by classifying sensory input. When something is perceived as a threat, it triggers the flight, fight, or freeze response. When we have time to consciously process sensory input, we allow the prefrontal cortex to analyze the information. Instead of an immediate impulsive reaction, we get to choose the best response instead, putting us in charge.
What we're ultimately looking for when interacting with media and how it might affect our brain is to cultivate a sense of an emotional skepticism. That is, if we encounter something that provides us with a very emotional response when we read it or see it, we approach that response with a degree of skepticism. This involves remaining highly cautious around our instincts, impulses, convictions, and strong passions. It's not that we should hate and despise these. We just want to remain conscious of how easily they are distorted and how readily they deviate from the best understanding of our own true interests. For an article on emotional skepticism, check this one out below. It's kind of lengthy, but it's very good on what emotional skepticism is and how we can cultivate that sense. The first step is to acknowledge that you feel threatened or stressed and that your flight or fight response has been activated. Become aware of how your emotions and body react to significant stress. Reviewing an episode after it's over can help. When you notice that the fight or flight response has been activated, your goal is to calm down and take control. Remind yourself that what you're feeling is an automatic response and is not necessarily the best or most logical one. When you're calm, consciously engage your frontal lobes by thinking about the situation and finding a thoughtful, rational solution. Become aware of your triggers and warning signs and notice when they're present. So when we're interacting with media, The first step is to notice that you're having an emotional response. If you notice that, you need to pause, step away until you feel calm or less triggered before we do anything else, before we respond or make assumptions about what we're reading. Then step back to the article or video, whatever it is, consider the source and facts. So next we'll talk a little bit about how we can consider the facts of what it is that we're reading.
Once we've managed to get ahead of our feelings, we can work on getting behind the facts. This means separating fact from fiction, or fact checking. Many times sources can be biased or consist of false claims. Titles can be misleading or serve as clickbait. When in doubt, use fact-checking sites such as these recommended by Common Sense Media. Also, did you know that social media platforms use algorithms to show articles and news that are targeted to you, the viewer? As a result, you may fall into the confirmation bias trap. Confirmation bias is the tendency to process information by looking for or interpreting information that is consistent with your existing beliefs. Ways to combat confirmation bias are: face your fears. Don't be afraid of information that differs from what you previously thought. Know that your ego doesn't want you to expand your mind. Think for yourself. Know that if you want to expand your mind, you must be okay with disagreements. This means having respectful discourse with others around you. Ask good questions and keep information channels open.
So once you're behind your feelings, getting the facts in order, we want to stay sharp online. So how do we do that? So there is an article that has 7 tips that talk about staying sharp online. It is linked below, but as you can see, so some of the tips are to, again, pause. We've mentioned this before. Remember, memes aren't news. They're enjoyable, they're spreadable, they go viral, but they aren't news. That should not be your source of information. Again, likes and shares do not equal credibility. So the more likes, the more shares does not mean that it is a factual argument. Take time to assess resources, get to the experts, don't feed the troll. So sometimes the purpose of posting something is to get a response or to trigger anger or add fuel to a fire. Don't fall into those traps, and steer clear of conspiratorial thinking. And again, that article is linked below with where those facts came from. And there is an acronym that if you do feel the need to post something or respond to a post, the acronym is THINK, which is really helpful. So the T is it true? The H, is it helpful? Is it improving the conversation? Is it necessary? And is it kind? So you want to ask yourself those questions before you post or respond. And we have a collection of additional resources that can really go deep into emotional skepticism and all things media literacy. And we highly recommend you checking them out.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you learned lots about media literacy and balancing facts with your feelings. If you are interested in more resources around digital citizenship, please check out the ACPS Digital Citizenship site for more information for you, your students, and your families.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.